Hello, I'm Paul Lambis and welcome to our 6th episode of Culturescope, featured on Cyprus Mail's interactive web portal Good Living. Our location for this episode is the village of Salamiou, a living museum that presents a rich historical and ecological past, offering an exceptional natural observatory of the Troodos region. From cobblestone narrow streets and energetic nature, to vineyards, olive groves and traditional cuisine, the atmosphere of Salamiou village will appeal to everyone. The encompassing mountains provide a stunning backdrop for the contrasting red roofs and pale stone of the village houses, elevating this place as one of the most picturesque in the region. Upon entering the village, one will encounter the Orthodox Church of Agia Varvara that began construction in 1902. On the western slopes of the Troodos Mountains and by the valley of the powerful river Xeros, one will come across a series of monumental olive trees, each one a work of art. Their uniqueness makes them a popular tourist attraction. According to tradition, the apostles Paul and Barnabas passed through the village of Salamiou during their first apostolic tour in Cyprus in 45 AD. It is believed that the apostles stopped at the village and had lunch there. The olive pips from which they ate then grew into olive trees. Descendants of these olive trees still exist in the area, known as the apostolic olive trees. Located 1 kilometer southeast of the village of Salamiou is the most important church in the settlement, the monastery of Panagia Salamiotissa, from the original buildings of which only the church that dates back to the 16th century is preserved. Dedicated to the Virgin Mary, the monastery forms a haven of peace and tranquility and is a real testament to Cyprus's religious heritage. A real architectural feat, this magnificent building houses an ancient icon of the Virgin Mary, beckoning both religious and non-religious visitors from near and far amid the most peaceful and idyllic rural setting. Wherever one travels in Cyprus, there are coffee shops with a warm welcome, refreshments, or a complimentary glass of wine, either made by the owner himself or locally produced in the village. Luscious vines are regularly cultivated in this region. The Lagria winery offers visitors the chance to sample their superb wines. Diverse and unique in character, this winery is housed in a traditional building with modern winemaking equipment. Established in the early 90s, the winery produces a magnificent blend of local wines made from native varieties, which include Xenisteri and Mavro. The Environmental Education Centre of Salamiou was established to create awareness of the flora and fauna of the area. The area also attracts a great environmental interest since Salamiou is considered a passage for migratory birds travelling during the spring and winter periods. Amidst the exceptional climate and unique scenery, the Lagria Theme Centre pays tribute to 6 themes that highlight the colourful traditions of Salamiou village: honey, almonds, olives, herbs, grapes and silk. Salamiou village is an unspoiled hinterland steeped in timeless tradition. Here one will find the quiet rhythms of country life, the customs, home-style cooking and the hearty hospitality of the village people. A trip to this magnificent corner of Cyprus is the best way to discover the unique flavour of the island and feel part of the genuine village life. Singer-songwriter Antigoni's deep, gravelly voice is recognizable within seconds of hearing it. With a modern approach to the blues and soul that strongly influence her own style of music, and vocals that are beyond her years, Antigoni is tipped for stardom.
thought she had him figured out.
Antigoni, you're a successful singer and songwriter from London who's just released her first EP. For people who aren't familiar with your work, let's start about how you got into music and your journey that has led you to be signed by large labels and shooting a video in Cyprus.
I got into music literally when I was really young because it was just always what I wanted to do. I always loved singing, I always loved writing songs. It was always just my passion. I never made like a conscious decision to think, oh, maybe I'll do music. But my parents were very supportive and kind of helped me to they were always just supportive and encouraging of what I was doing, and I managed to sign a publishing deal for songwriting when I was 14. It was always like a kind of dream of mine, but it's very interesting to see how nowadays labels don't really do the same thing that they used to. It's very much, you don't really get that development thing, but it was a great learning curve for me, and I got in the room with a lot of writers and a lot of producers and whatever, and I made this catalogue of music that I was really proud of. And then a very typical music industry story, the guy who signed me left the label, and the last thing you want is to be stuck in a label without somebody championing you. So I was fortunate that I could get out of that deal, get the rest of my advance, which I was owed by the label, and I was able to take that and then fund everything independently and make this EP and the next two that are coming out.
Dark as night, hot as fire, up so close I can feel your desire. I know you see me, don't close your eyes, promise that I'm not a devil in disguise.
I wanted to just put the first little body of work out as something very stripped back, very raw, that just kind of showed you a little bit about me and my voice and my songwriting. And Good as Gold is my favourite song on that EP because I just love it and I really connect with it, and it's really about losing confidence and somebody, or even an inner strength. That's where I went with the video, but finding that inner strength to be like, no, do you know what, I've got this, I'm okay. And for me, Cyprus is where I feel very content, very rooted. I think maybe it's because it's always been where I come on a holiday and my family's here. So it felt like the right place to showcase that sort of storyline of somebody who's kind of trying to be comfortable with themselves and find that confidence. So this felt like the right place to do it, and to have the ancient Greek elements of the amphitheatre the Kurion. It was really beautiful because I love ancient history, and we kind of had a little mirroring thing of a kind of goddess character and then me as myself, and the idea was like you having that inner strength, that inner goddess, like so that was how we ended up doing the video here. And I did it with Anthony Petru, who's an amazing director. He actually won an award out here, so yeah, it was really amazing experience.
Shine bright, my darling, I know you can feel it, and this is just starting. Can't you see there's nothing I'm hiding? So stop resisting, why do you keep fighting? Don't believe what you've been told, your love's as good as gold.
Every song that I have has a very clear kind of narrative and a dialogue. So for me, it's just capturing those little things that people can relate to, day-to-day things that have happened to my friends, things that have happened to me, things I've read online. So yeah, ultimately it's a pop thing, but I like to have real live instrumentation in the production. So I like kind of minimalistic production with kind of a big bottom end bassy sound and then a few key live instruments that you can hear. And it took me a while to find that sound. It was a real kind of journey, but I feel quite set in that now.
I think about you way too much, and I just wanna drown in your love. I've been thinking about you way too much, keep trying to fight it, but you got control of my emotions, and you don't even know, that I think about you way too much. Tell me, do you think about me? Tell me, do you think about me?
His unique blend of material, improvisation and characters have made him one of the most sought-after comedians in the entertainment industry today. With over 100 television performances throughout the world, universally acknowledged and parentally ignored Basile is perhaps one of the most diverse entertainers whose sold-out performances have left his audiences in fits of laughter.
Us Greeks, we love when Seni go to the festivals just so we can hear you guys mispronounce all the Greek foods. Love it! Do you have any more baklava? Yeah, we got baklava. We love those teriopites and aspanakopita. Thank you. Do you have any more of that delicious let your booty grow? Do you mean I like the booty grow?
You've entertained millions of comedy fans in the United States, Canada, Europe, Australia, and Africa. The list is endless. Your unique blend of material, improvisation, your characters, that they've made you one of the most sought-after comedians in the entertainment industry. Now, tell me how it all began. I think everybody wants to know that.
Well, I played, when I was in high school, I was more or less the jock. I was the athlete. And I kind of, not that I was the most popular, because I certainly was not that I was the best looking, although I should have been. I think the thing that kept me going was my athletic ability to do certain things. I played American football with the pads and the helmet and all that stuff. And my goal was to play in the NFL, go to college and play, go to the NFL and play. And I was a pretty damn good ball player. I played through high school, then I went to college and played some college, and then got hurt. And then my career kind of was like, what are you going to do now? So I couldn't rely on my athletic prowess to do anything for me at that time. My cousin says, you need just to goof off a little bit. Let's go to a comedy club. And I went to a comedy club. And I'm watching this guy up on stage who is still on tour when I don't know how. But he was terrible. I'm saying, wait a minute, this guy's getting how much money? Oh, I can do better. And of course, my ego is that much bigger. Yes. And I'm thinking, I can do anything. I can walk through a brick wall. I could do, nah. So I sat there and my cousin goes, I bet you $20 you won't do it. Hey, $20? So the next week I prepared enough material to do like 5 minutes and I went up and would you believe it? I won the amateur contest. I started doing stand-up and loved it. And the comedy club, the old Cleveland Comedy Club, which was in downtown Cleveland, owner looked at me and goes, hey, would you like to go ahead and open for a weekend? Sure. He says, I'll pay you $100. Oh, sure. 3-5 shows, whatever it was. Not a problem. So I wound up doing that. And one thing led to another, and I got the bug. And I really enjoyed it.
Homeschooled. I hated my teachers. It was bullshit. You roll out of bed, bam, I'm fucking school already. I just had that dream to graduate and walk through the living room. That's all I wanted. Field trips were great. Oh my God, we're going to the grocery store. Then one day I caught my mother talking to herself in the corner of the room going, shit, parent-teacher conference.
Improv has always been my thing. I've always quick. I was always, jump, bam, 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 and whatever someone's saying, I could jump right into it and have some fun. And that's all I really wanted to do was to have fun. I didn't think it was going to take me to a career. So then one night, my mom goes, Basile, akuse, pretina kanis kati yatuselines. And I'm like, my Greek is horrific. But my Greek was, I guess, good enough, and I guess that's the charm of the Growing Up Greek in America show is, taleo ala napola.
My mother always needs her glasses. She needs help when she bakes. You know when they really get old? When they start talking about the will. My father was Greek accent. You get everything. You get the restaurant, the family home, all the rental properties. You get the family home in Greece, all the properties in Greece. All of the life insurance money goes to you. And the thing is, they just won't die.
It's Basile with an E. Why with an E? Why is it not Basil? Why is it not Vasili?
My actual birth name is Vasilios Zanis Vassilios, okay? So everyone on my birth certificate was Basile. And I was born in the United States. And at that time, we were at the height of the Cold War. Yeah. It was the early 60s. It was a time of uncertainty. It was a time where the Russians basically were the bad guys. And the name Vasile was really pretty well known as to be Russian. So people would always ask, my mother, are you all Russian? And it was not, I don't want to say taboo to be Russian, but it wasn't the right time to be Russian.
Yes.
So my mom legally changed my name from Basile, which was Vasile, and she changed the V to the B, but forgot the E. So my name is basically an error, okay? I wish I had a better excuse. But my name is, Basile, and but it's so funny because people will see, is it Basile? Is it Basile? Is it, and I go, no, it's Basile with an E. So they will sit there and go, so Mr. Basile with an E, let me ask you a question. I said, are you serious?
Hi, my name is Basile, and I want to give you a small little brief history lesson about what the Greeks truly gave the entire world. Besides democracy, philosophy, geometry, and art, we gave the world such things as astrology, architecture, the alphabet, atomic theory, botany, the catapult, centralized government, chemistry, constitutional government, cartography, the crane, comedy, drama, diplomacy, education, free speech, the marathon, math, medicine, the odometer, the Olympics, organized religion, pharmacy, physics, the pulley, religious freedom, science, the steam engine, theater, the thermometer, trigonometry, the watermill, the wheelbarrow, and zoology, just to name a few. And what are we known for today? Yogurt. Really? Yogurt?
If I ever, when I do pass, I want an Irish wake. I want to be laying down like this with a glass of Grand Marnier, standing just right on top of my chest. I want them to come up, toast me, and celebrate the life that we had a great time. Don't cry, just say, oh my God, what a great time we had.
Best known in Cyprus for being a jazz singer and owner of Sarah's Jazz Club in Nicosia, Sarah has also been flirting with the painting world since 2013 and is now presenting an exhibition with pieces inspired by the lockdown days. Sarah, you are recognized as one of the leading improvisational jazz singers on the island, as well as being one of the island's original voices of the genre. As an emerging artist, how has visual arts helped you channel your expression, especially during the pandemic?
Jazz is an improvisational form of music. It's a lot to do with freedom. It has a lot of values inherent in the music from history. And actually, quite a lot of jazz singers were also active as artists. In my case, it's a great way to express the values of jazz and to work with color, in physical color, and not just, let's say, auditory color, color that you would hear in somebody's voice. So it's really a great way to amplify the way I feel about music and life in general as well.
Your exhibition explores the way energies and characters appear in the world and the impressions they make. Do you believe your own self-image and existence depends on the gaze and the exchange of energy of others?
My self-image, as I found from COVID, going through the COVID lockdown, my self-image was basically in isolation, and everything that happened through that period, creatively speaking, was about how I would behave in isolation by myself. Coming out of lockdown, things changed. Again, I was communicating with people, I felt differently about life. I had different inspirations after talking to people physically, not just digitally. So I think that art is the process of capturing an image in life that the artist experiences or feels. So obviously my art after lockdown is different to my art during lockdown. The exhibition is called Sarah's Jazz Club. It's titled after Sarah's Jazz Club because this is where I did all of the work during the lockdown period and previous to that as well. This is a place where I'm very, very inspired. It's full of creative energy. The arts are bringing nothing but good into the world. They really are, and they're inspiring others, And if you're an aspiring young artist, go for it.
The 1974 Turkish invasion of Cyprus has been treated as just a footnote in so many textbooks, or not even mentioned at all. Millions know little, if nothing at all, about it. Others ignore the present-day consequences of its existence. Creating an acknowledged educational masterpiece that will be made available to as many students around the globe is our primary objective. It's important that teachers make the study of the 1974 Turkish invasion of Cyprus and issues of hatred and intolerance as relevant as possible, so that it can have more meaning and impact for every individual in their own lives. 74 centers on the lives of 4 women and the gross injustices perpetrated against them following the 1974 Turkish invasion of Cyprus. It's a war drama, a story of love, loss, life and death, seen through the eyes of these 4 symbolic women, each one representing a town under Turkish occupation: Gerinia, Girne, Morfu and Varosha. These powerful figures are united by one constant that anchors and ties them all together: their hope for their island's reunification. The process so far has been a profound and emotional experience. With 2 international Best Screenplay awards already under its belt, 74 has garnered the interest and support from investors and sponsors who identify with our aim to create a film of commercial, historic and of course academic value. More needs to be done for bringing the consequences of the 1974 Turkish invasion of Cyprus to light. Cyprus is plagued with a lingering issue, an unrecognized Turkish Cypriot North. The Cyprus crisis that unfolded in the summer of 1974 serves as a daily reminder of a chronic 40-year-old wound. The unresolved Cyprus dispute persists to torment our island's future since it's so tied up in the politics of the past. Modern-day Cyprus remains a divided island. Nicosia is the only divided capital in the world. The film will be shot using both modern and old-school filmmaking techniques to create a more documentary-like realism. The entire process will be exciting and unforgettable. We want to eliminate the aesthetic distance between the audience and experience. Movies themselves are metaphors for how humans experience life on a deeper level. Creating a unique language of metaphors and symbols for the film is a big part of being a visual storyteller. The symbolic images used extensively throughout the film will help audiences understand abstract concepts that can't always be translated into words. I want 74 to be a blockbuster, a cult classic that will be debated and discussed for decades. For me, 74 will be a redefining film. I'm delighted that it's been placed under the auspices of the First Lady of Cyprus, Mrs. Andrea Anastasiadis, and I'm certain that upon completion, 74 will be a film that will embody the soul of Cyprus.
Stay connected and follow us on social media. If you want to be featured on Culturescope, contact our production team on the email provided below. Until next time, stay safe and let culture transform your life.